I am firmly of the belief that Miss Universe 2015 was a bit of a cultural reset, not only for Miss Universe itself, but for the pageant industry as a whole. It was something that drew huge amounts of attention to the Miss Universe brand and is arguably one of the reasons why Pia Wurtzbach is one of the most famous Miss Universes ever. It was the proverbial Will Smith Oscars slap of the pageant industry, if you will. It drew huge amounts of attention to pageantry and at the very least got people talking about Miss Universe. And looking back at this event 7 years in the future, I can't help but feel wickedly nostalgic for what this meant for the pageant industry. There were 7 key players in this historical melodrama that played out on that stage that night. Steve Harvey, of course, the host in question, who called the wrong Miss Universe. Ariadna Gutierrez, who was, of course, the Colombian representative, who was called as the wrong Miss Universe. Pia Wutzbach, of course, the beautiful Filipina woman who was revealed to be the actual Miss Universe 2015. Paulina Vega, of course, the Colombian woman, the outgoing queen, who unfortunately had to crown and unceremoniously decrown her fellow countrywoman, Ariadna Gutierrez, on stage in front of everyone. Olivia, the second runner-up for Miss Universe 2015, who in fact told Pia and encouraged her on the side of the stage where they were standing that she was in fact the actual Miss Universe. Another key player, in my opinion, the envelope, of course, the infamous envelope, and whoever told Steve Harvey backstage that a huge mistake had been made and that it needed to be corrected. Steve Harvey, of course, went on to make a lot more money from his first Miss Universe gig than I think he ever bargained for. This event literally plunged him into the spotlight and gave him the kind of publicity that money can't buy. There were memes everywhere and searches on Google for Steve Harvey went up by 90%. There's no denying that this blunder, though embarrassing, proved very lucrative for Steve Harvey and gave him material for jokes which he could make for the next 5 years at all of his other Miss Universe gigs. With that being said, however, Steve Harvey did earnestly apologize for this mistake, not only on stage that night, but afterwards as well, and directly to Ariadna, who arguably lost the most and was the most embarrassed out of everyone in this situation. I mean, putting yourself in her shoes, it's easy to understand how she was in a lot of pain after the events of Miss Universe 2015. I mean, she spoke out about how difficult this was for her, and I can definitely see why. Having something like this happen to you must be downright traumatic. I mean, she went from feeling every single euphoric emotion that a Miss Universe feels when she is called and crowned to being plunged into this dystopian nightmare in a matter of minutes and in front of millions of people. Not only was this loss personal, but it was also national. Colombia would have been only the second country in Miss Universe history to win a back-to-back title. Remember that Paulina Vega, who was Miss Universe 2014, was also Colombian. Paulina, of course, had the unfortunate task of decrowning and desashing her fellow countrywoman after they both thought that they had accomplished this historic feat together. Make no mistake, I think this hurt Paulina as well. The only other country to ever achieve a back-to-back win at Miss Universe was Venezuela in 2008 and 2009. If Colombia were able to achieve this no doubt would have been a great source of pride for Colombian pageant fans, just as it has been for the Venezuelans. But unfortunately, this wasn't meant to be, and Paulina unfortunately had to remove the crown from Ariadna's head and place it on the head of the Filipina woman Pia Wutzbach. Now, Colombia and the Philippines are both giants in the pageant industries. These are both major powerhouse countries, which made this mix-up all the more serious and impactful. By the time this mix-up was revealed and Steve Harvey came back on stage, Pia had already accepted her position as first runner-up and had gracefully left the stage in order to leave the spotlight for the newly crowned Miss Universe, who was from Colombia. Like many of us, Pia was utterly confused when Steve Harvey stepped back on stage and uttered the famous words, "I have to apologize." These 4 words, though she didn't know it then, would change her life. Standing next to Pia's side was the Miss Universe 2015 second runner-up Olivia Jordan from the United States. Obviously, seeing the confusion on Pia's face, she reassured Pia that yes, you are in fact Miss Universe, it's you, and urged her to move to the center of the stage. And who knows how this whole thing would have played out if Olivia wasn't there as an encouraging force for Pia during this downright difficult and confusing time. Now, as you can imagine, after all of this confusion of that evening, there were many conspiracy theories that IMG actually staged this whole mix-up as a publicity stunt. I mean, they bought the Miss Universe brand from Donald Trump in 2014, and I have to say, by 2014, Miss Universe as a brand had, I don't know, moved out of popular perception, I suppose, and many people theorized that IMG wanted to revive the brand and renew interest by the public. There were also people afterwards who suggested that Ariadna and Pia share the title of Miss Universe 2015. If I remember correctly, Pia stated in an interview very gracefully that she did not think that would work. Overall, I would say that everyone gained from Miss Universe 2015 and the Miss Universe 2015 mix-up. The Miss Universe brand was re-established in the public's mind as the elite pageant of the world. Steve Harvey got more free publicity than money could ever buy. Pia obviously became this just amazing woman, and she became one of the most famous Miss Universes of all time, if not the most famous Miss Universe of all time, because of this situation. Ariadna, who I would argue gained the least from this situation, at least gained some public sympathy and notoriety. I know a lot of people think that she handled the situation exceptionally well under the circumstances. In my opinion, Miss Universe 2015 was very important when it came to re-establishing pageantry in the wider public's mind. I hope you enjoyed this little history lesson on Miss Universe 2015. I am still perplexed by that situation, how Steve Harvey managed to misread the card. I mean, to me, well, as a pageant lover, I suppose, the card is kind of obvious. I know a lot of other people talked about how they could see how he mixed things up because he just saw the word first and went Colombia. But, you know, from a pageant lover's perspective, I know that first usually comes with runner-up after it. But that's just me. Thank you guys so much for watching. I had so much fun just talking about Miss Universe 2015 again. The other day I watched it over and I couldn't watch the crowning because I had second-hand cringe. Such a sad yet nostalgic moment in pageant history. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you haven't already, please subscribe and I will see you in the next one. Bye!